Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Sherry Tries That, or welcome if you're new. Today, I am going to try frozen yogurt bark. You take yogurt, in this case, I'm going to be using Greek yogurt, and you sort of use it to make bark and put fruit on top and freeze it. It looked delicious, seemed like a pretty healthy snack, so I thought I would give it a try. So come along as we make it and see how it turns out. Okay, in a medium bowl, we are going to mix together 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt. I use the Kirkland brand from Costco. You don't have to use Greek yogurt. You could use vanilla yogurt. Really, you could use any yogurt that you want to. Next, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of honey. You can also use maple syrup. I don't have maple syrup, so I'm going to use honey, but the recipe says either one is fine. Now, if you use a pre-sweetened or flavored yogurt, then you probably want to skip the honey and the vanilla extract, which is next. And I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Stir this together until mixed. This becomes the foundation of your bark. Put down parchment on a cookie sheet. You want to make sure that your cookie sheet has a rim so that the yogurt does not spread off your cookie sheet and run everywhere. That would be a great big old mess. Okay, spread this out in a rectangle about 1/4 of an inch thick. Now we're going to spread our fruit out on it. So I'm using strawberries and blueberries. You can mix up your fruit. I think sometime I would like to maybe try strawberry and banana, blueberry and banana, okay, in moving the fruit, see how I've made that very thin? You want to fix that, because if the yogurt is too thin in places, it's not going to support the fruit. Now I'll put the blueberries. The blueberries are cut in half, although some of them stick together quite a bit. The recipe said that next time she made this, she was going to try maybe drizzling some chocolate over it, which would be good. I want to keep this sort of as healthy as possible. The honey does add some sugar and some calories, but I don't think it's too much. I don't want to add more calories by adding the chocolate. But if that's not, a concern for you, then I think drizzling chocolate over it would be really good. Okay, I see my fruit is not evenly dispersed, so I'm just going to have to remember to do a better job of that next time. Okay, and now we're going to put it in the freezer for 3 hours. The recipe said that the hardest part of this recipe is waiting the 3 hours. Okay, it's the next day, and this has been in the freezer overnight. One thing I forgot to tell you about was coconut. The recipe calls for some unsweetened flaked coconut. It said it makes it just a little chewy. I had planned to use it. I was sure I had coconut flakes. I could picture the container they were in and where in the cupboard they were, and when I went to use it, they weren't there. So I feel like that's optional, but wanted to let you know that that is part of the recipe if you wanted to try it. So what we're going to do now is break this up into bark. There's a couple of ways that you can do this. The recipe showed that she had cut it in rectangular pieces. It also said that you can use a pizza cutter to just kind of cut it. I'm used to breaking up my Christmas bark with my hands, but I think I'm going to try the pizza cutter method. All right, let's give this a try. With my Christmas bark, it's a little different because the peanuts are really embedded in the chocolate because they get mixed up in the chocolate before it is spread out. This is a little different because the fruit sits on top. Now that I'm cutting it, some things that I observe are that I would bring the fruit right out to the edges because this is a large piece of bark, but if I cut it off, you're going to have pieces that are just the yogurt and not have any fruit. So I would pay closer attention to the placement of the fruit next time. This is harder to cut than I thought it would be. The original recipe said that when she's going to serve it, she takes it out and lets it soften up a bit. Maybe I should do that for cutting too. I think a knife would work just fine, actually. Okay, let's try some. I've got a small piece here that's got a blueberry and a strawberry on it. It's very cold. This would be very refreshing on a hot summer day. I can definitely taste the honey in the yogurt. I think I would prefer honey to maple syrup. So if I make it again, I think I would continue to use honey. But if you really like maple syrup, you probably will get a hint of that in the yogurt. It's kind of messy because the yogurt kind of softens and starts to melt in your fingers. Not a big problem, just letting you know. I wouldn't let it soften too much before you serve it or eat it, because I think the yogurt softens pretty quickly, and it's easier to eat it if it's harder, firmer. The fruit is frozen. So now I would say, if you're cutting something like strawberries, cut them in fairly small little pieces so that you're not trying to bite through a piece of strawberry when you eat it, because it will be frozen. The blueberries halved are fine because they're small enough. I was thinking if I used bananas, I would just slice them and leave them in slices. I don't think that now. I would definitely cut it into quarters at least, if not smaller. So I think that the smaller the fruit pieces, the better. Also, the more that they can lay flat on the yogurt before you freeze it, the better. Like I said, I think this would be really nice on a hot summer day. So just to recap, a couple of things that I learned from this is make the fruit into small pieces, keep them as flat as you can, and make sure that you move fruit out to the edges of the yogurt when you're putting the bark together and putting it in the freezer. I also checked a bark at 2 hours and no. So it definitely needs at least 3, and this one was overnight. And it softened up pretty quickly, but it is the winter, so my house is warm. So again, in the summer, you know, you probably have a cooler house, maybe it wouldn't soften up quite as quickly. So I would make this again, but I would wait and make it in the summer. I think it would be a nice, refreshing, cooling, healthy treat or snack. Hey, Editing Sherry, dropping in for a second. I left the bark out while I was starting some editing, and then I went back in and I kind of scooped up a fingerful, and it was really good because the yogurt was really cold and the fruit was less frozen. Obviously, it was a little too soft for me to use my fingers. I would have to use a spoon to eat it, but I really enjoyed it that way. Let me know if you think you'll make it, or if you have made it before. How did it turn out? What fruit did you use? Did you use something different for the foundation, the bark part? you can really help out my channel by hitting the subscribe button, giving this video a thumbs up, and also click on the notification bell so you know when my next video has been posted.